This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1073, The Perfect Storm, Demonstrating Conflicts of Interest with Investment Advice, Part 2, by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. And I'm your host and narrator of the show. My name is Dan, and I am here every day of the week reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. Now, today's post is actually a continuation from yesterday, so if you're new here, it would be best to listen to that episode first. That's episode 1072. From Saturday, but if you're all caught up, let's hear part 2 as we continue optimizing your life. The Perfect Storm, Demonstrating Conflicts of Interest with Investment Advice, Part 2, by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. An advisor is paid to accumulate assets under management, not to give the best advice. There are many instances when an investor's money would be better used elsewhere. What if a client is debating using extra funds to pay off a mortgage early versus investing more? There are legitimate arguments either way, but only investing more money benefits the advisor. How about a person contemplating withdrawing from investment accounts to invest in a personal business? Either decision could be correct for the investor, but only one would benefit the advisor. Risk is another issue. An advisor could add value by coaching a client to take an appropriate amount of risk. A conservative investor may need to take more risk to reach their goals. But what if the move backfired and the investor lost money? On the flip side, an overly aggressive investor may benefit by dialing the risk down. But what if they lost performance? In either case, the investor could get upset and fire the advisor. There is incentive for the advisor not to rock the boat. Remember, they get paid for having assets under management, not for giving good advice. AUM in practice. We knew we were paying commissions for the investments we were sold. We ended up paying AUM fees as well. The mutual funds we owed had a weighted average expense ratio of 1.14%. Part of the expense ratio was a 12B1 fee. This annual fee, which was 0.25% of AUM, was in effect a kickback to the advisor, incentivizing him to keep us in a fund he had already been paid to sell us. This allowed the advisor to continue collecting a de facto AUM fee as long as we held the investments. We were advised to bypass our work retirement accounts and instead invest those funds with our advisor. I contributed 5% of my salary to my 401k because I was automatically enrolled by my employer to receive a company match. My wife received employer contributions regardless of whether or not she contributed. She was advised to completely bypass any additional contribution to her retirement account. This resulted in us missing out on over $30,000 of tax-deferred savings every year. At a marginal tax rate of 25%, this meant we paid over $7,500 in unnecessary income taxes each year as a result of this advice. The combination of not using this deduction, along with income generated by holding our investments in taxable accounts, elevated our recognized income annually. This poor tax planning disqualified us from contributing to a Roth IRA. We may have been given this advice so the advisor could sell us funds to collect commissions or to charge fees for assets under management. In either model, the conflicts are the same. An advisor collects fees only when they control your money, creating massive conflicts of interest. Fee-only model. The third model for paying for financial advice is paying a fee only for advice you receive. This is the most transparent model. You agree to pay the advisor directly for advice. This eliminates many, but not all, conflicts of interest. Simple is often better with finances. This is especially true when it comes to investing. The problem with paying for investing advice is the incentive it creates to make things complicated. If an advisor would have shown me we could save $7,000 in income taxes by maxing out work retirement accounts, I would have been ecstatic. If he would have told me index funds were likely to outperform actively managed funds we owned while costing him much less, that would have added tremendous value. I would have gladly paid for that advice. Of course, once I knew this, there would be little else for the advisor to do for me. Investments could be placed on autopilot. There would be no reason for me to get my checkbook back out the next year. Alan Roth cites the need to justify fees as one of 10 reasons advisors struggle to keep client portfolios simple. Roth is a rare breed in the financial industry. He became financially independent, then became an educator, consumer advocate, and fee-only financial advisor. Most advisors would not share this information because, unlike Roth, they're dependent on those fees to feed their families. Unnecessary complexity. On top of commissions and hidden fees we paid our advisor and his firm, we also paid a $450 annual advisory fee, rounding out the perfect storm. We didn't get good tax advice, and we consistently underperformed investment benchmarks, But we did get our money's worth in one area. We got an abundance of complexity. We owned 15 mutual funds in the name of diversification. Adding to the complexity, some of the funds were held inside the variable annuity. When we finally took the time to decipher our investments, we realized that we only owned 3 asset classes: large cap domestic stocks, small cap domestic stocks, and domestic bonds. Unnecessary complexity is common in the financial industry. Making investing complex is a way for the financial industry to justify their existence. Since we began managing our own investments, we have added international developed and emerging markets, real estate investment trusts or REITs, and Treasury inflation protected securities, TIPS, to our portfolio. We cut the number of funds we hold from 15 to 8 and cut our expenses by over 90%, decreasing cost and complexity while adding diversification. All financial advice is conflicted. Not all financial advisors are bad people, and not all financial advice is bad. Even in our perfect storm scenario, we received some good advice. We were advised to automate our investments and contribute regularly, to stay invested during the 2008 financial crisis, and to select an asset allocation in alignment with our risk tolerance. In each case, our best interests were aligned with our advisor's interests. But all financial advice comes with inherent conflicts of interest. In our case, there were many conflicts. At nearly every turn, our interests lost out. We were sold unnecessarily expensive products, paid unnecessary taxes, and had an unnecessarily complex portfolio to our detriment. If you plan to seek investment help, you need to understand how your financial advisor is paid and the conflicts this can create. Go in with your eyes wide open, or your vision may soon be further obscured when storm clouds start forming. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled The Perfect Storm, Demonstrating Conflicts of Interest with Investment Advice by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. And that is another episode and another weekend of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. I thank you so much for your support and for listening each and every day, and I will be back with you tomorrow for more great content. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you back here on Monday where your optimal life awaits.